Hello, this is Joe Cortez here at the Joe Cortez Show. We're here with one of the great heavyweight champions of all time, Lamon Brewster, and we have Juanita Kapp and Stephen Oliver, who's our co-host of the show. So we're all together here talking about what to do to better our lives, especially the youngsters out there. And Lamon Brewster, tell us a little bit about yourself first, so people can know who you are first before you start talking about your creativity, what you're doing in the sport of boxing.
Yes, sir. So my name is Lamon Brewster. I formerly went by Relentless Lamon Brewster. I'm the former heavyweight champion of the world. I won the WBO heavyweight title almost 20 years ago to the day. April 10th, 2004, Mandalay Bay, HBO. I knocked out Vladimir Klitschko to become the WBO heavyweight champion of the world.
Nice.
I came back in 2005 and I broke the world record for the fastest knockout in the heavyweight championship title fight in history by defeating Andrew Galata in the United Center on Showtime. And as a matter of fact, I changed in the same stall that Michael Jordan used to change in when he played for the Bulls. So I dunked that night too.
Okay, so we're honored to have you on the show because not every day we get a former heavyweight champion on the show, and you bring so much knowledge and wisdom to the viewers out there of what's going on in the world. And Juanita, you want to ask a little questions about Lamon Brewster's career?
Absolutely. We had a little discussion, the four of us, before we started this session, and I found what Lamon is doing so super interesting. And Joe, when we started this with Kevin, we said we are going to build communities. And as Lamon described what he's doing, I realized, my goodness, he's perfect for our show. Not just because he's a phenomenal boxer, but because he's also now using his knowledge to build communities, to help people, as he'll teach you, find their stance in life and talk about mentality. So I want to ask Lamon, please tell the audience what you are busy with, what your program consists of.
Okay, well, thank you for asking. So I have developed, since I retired from boxing, a program that I've been successfully able to introduce to the world. And it's something that I want to be able to actually have other champions to be involved with, and other nobility of boxing, noble names in boxing, like Mr. Cortez. This is called the Fight for Life program. It's by Brewster's, it's through Brewster's Place. And that's the nonprofit organization that I started, because once I retired from boxing, I was asking God, what do you want me to do? And God answered me. And so I had went to my stepdad house, and I was visiting him, and I was in the backyard, and he said, son, I'm gonna go in the house and get some water. He said, you want anything? I said, no, I'm fine, Dad. And so I'm standing out looking in the backyard. I kissed a girl over here. I played basketball over there. I did something, just looking around like, man, wow, I haven't been in my backyard in many years, and I retired from boxing now. And it was at that point something came over me, and it's crazy because I remember it like yesterday. And it said, he said, I did everything you asked me to do. You want to leave Indiana? I allowed you to go to California, make the U.S. Olympic team. I traveled the whole world. I'm one of the few people on earth that can say I've knocked a man out from every continent on the face of the earth, except the North and South Pole, because Eskimos don't become big.
Lamon, let me say something to our viewers out there. First of all, you're very knowledgeable about the sport of boxing. You have all your marbles together, which is good. A lot of fighters, they retire from boxing. They don't have it anymore. You're still sharp as a whip. You got it all. And we need people like you out there to share your knowledge and wisdom with our youngsters out there, because, one of the things that you have with your program is that you want to have you're talking about how you can train these fighters, these individuals out there, not necessarily have to be a fighter, but just an individual willing to listen. But what you do with your teaching is you're teaching these individuals to have the confidence level, the self-esteem, you know, and the to go forward and make things happen in their life for the betterment of life. A lot of individuals out there don't know where to go. A lot of individuals out there are raised without a mother or without a father. And mainly, a lot of youngsters out there are brought up without a father, and that's where they get lost. The mother's trying to do so much, but she's trying to keep the family together. But they really need a father image. It is where you come in as an individual with your knowledge and wisdom, you're an individual that's done it all. You traveled the world. You've been in the amateur rank. You became a professional. Your dream came true. You became heavyweight champion by knocking out Klitschko. And you know, here we are today. You said to yourself, God gave you the knowledge and wisdom to gain all those gain the fame that you got as a fighter and becoming a champion. But now it's time to pay it forward. And this is what you're doing. I want our viewers to know that there's not many individuals out there like Lamon Brewster who's done so much, wants to continue doing more for our youth out there today. So Lamon, he's got to continue telling our viewers how to really get started.
Yes, sir. So after my stepdad had went in the house, and I'm standing out there, and like I said, something came over me and said, you know, I did everything you asked me. You want to leave Indianapolis, Indiana? I did that. I took you to California, made a U.S. Olympic team. You want to become heavyweight champion of the world? I did that. There are so many things that I overcame living here during the crack era of the early 90s, the late 80s, early 90s. I had so many friends that died, but because I was able to go to a boxing gym, I wasn't caught up out there in the streets. So I said to myself, okay, Lord, I get it. I know what you want me to do now. So what I've done is I've dedicated myself to, like you said, Mr. Cortez, which is giving back to these young men. And what I'm trying to do is set it up so that every gym around the country would allow a minimum of 2 people per week to frequent to their gym they cannot afford to pay. And the reason why is because I became heavyweight champion of the world because I was able to go to a gym and I was able to hone my craft as a boxer, which kept me out of the streets, because at that time, all of my friends, they had the Michael Jordans, they had the girls, they had the money, but because I had boxing and something was just driving me to keep going to the gym. And when I start seeing my friends go to jail, when I start seeing them get shot, when I start seeing them die, I said, man, I'm going to keep going to the gym because that's my excuse not to hang out in the street and them not say, oh, he's not cool because you're not doing what they do. So they respected the fact that I went to the gym, and I went so much that I became really, really good. I won everything in the Indiana, and then I won everything in the Midwest, and then I won everything in the North America, and then I won everything in the world. And it was all because somebody took a chance and allowed me to come to their gym. And so what I am doing through my nonprofit organization, now that we got these retired champions, I'm using these champions as mentors using Zoom to be able to speak to these young men and these young women about how to perceive life as a fight, because life is a fight. And so what I come to understand is that a lot of these young men, as the Bible say, the blind cannot lead the blind unless they both fall in a ditch. So when you got a young man and he don't have a father, how can he lead himself to a place where he's actually growing in life without falling off of a cliff? So what I've been doing is teaching them what every punch means in life, because every punch that I've ever thrown or been hit with, anytime I've had to take a knee or come from behind, I can tell you exactly what it means in life. So I've teamed up with mental health specialists to be able to break it down on paper so that it can be explained through the Zoom sessions using all of these world champions, taking one positive affirmation and teaching that affirmation to these individuals as it relates to their life, hoping that someone that is watching will be able to pick up on this, because it's all about knowing your stance, your mental stance. Your mental stance is who you are in the ring and out of the ring. And that's what we teach at Brewster's Place.
Okay, Stephen, you're there. I know you want to ask some questions, Stephen. Ask some questions. You've gone through a lot in your life. lately we're happy with your two sons. Can you tell us a little bit of what do you see what Lamont is doing to help us with our organization?
So first of all, Lamon, it's very, very good to see you again. I met you at the
Yes,
Hall of Fame, Atlantic City Hall
yes,
of
sir.
Fame. Same
Yes, sir.
place. I met Joe. Some incredible moments we've had there. You took some time out with me and made some very, very big impressions on me because you took that time to speak to me, just like Joe did. You know, when you can sit down with somebody you don't know and make an impact in their life, that's huge. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
huge to more than that one person. You have everybody else that's listening. You got everybody else that he's telling. It impacts many, many people because of the fame that you two carry, both of you. And so, first of all, thank you for spending the time with me and making an impact on me, which helped me get this thing going. And me and Joe and Juanita's got something I think is going to be very, very special because we're trying to get an outreach like you're doing as well, where we can get people in here, talk about helping, talk about doing the things, because I did lose my son, one of them to gun violence and one of them to fentanyl in 2021.
I'm so
And, you know,
sorry.
thank you, sir. I started stoppinggunviolence.com because I lost and Joe. You know, he was 17 years old and got shot by a 16-year-old. Nothing in the world I've been through could have hurt me anything more than what that did. It was breathtaking, and it literally about killed me. Same time that year, or later that year, same year, I lost my son, Kevin, my oldest son, to fentanyl, which is the biggest killer in the world right now. You know, from ages 18 to 49, it jumped 3 age groups. It was 18 to 46 last year. It jumped now. It's 18 to 49 years old, the number one killer in the world. So, you know, these two big, huge epidemics is something that we practice and teach and talk to a lot of people about, especially the you know, also including gun violence. You know, all these 13-year-olds are killing people. 10-year-old killed his mom for not getting a toy. He's getting charged with capital murder as an adult. So, you know, there's so much that we're trying to bring to the table as well, and everything that Joe's wanting to bring to the table on some of the what was it called, Joe, that you was getting ready to start? It was that for bringing all the kids in, and
the cadet program.
The cadet program. So the cadet program is going to be something you've explained to me that's just going to be an amazing thing. You stepping out there, taking your time to do something of this magnitude is absolutely incredible, and I'm so proud to see you doing what you're doing. And thank you for coming on the show and telling everybody about what you're currently doing as well.
Well, I just want to say thank you, man. And as you were speaking, the Spirit was on me, because the Bible says, study to show thyself approved, always be ready to give answer, quick to hear, slow to speak. And my spirit was just telling me, when God went in this situation with your sons, he closed the doors so that he could appoint you to go in the direction that he wants you to go, to do what he wants you to do, because you have the chance to save so many sons, to save so many lives, because of the testimony that you have. Remember, he only gives his test to his strongest. And so he knew that you could endure the pain of your sons, because I tell people, when you turn off a light bulb, that don't mean electricity don't exist no more. That just means the bulb isn't there anymore, but the bulb can be replaced. What I'm getting at is your sons are still here, because that DNA that's in you, that's the DNA of your sons. And your sons are communicating with you through spirit, and they're helping to guide and lead you, because you're going to save a lot of sons. You're going to save a lot of fathers, a lot of the pain that you have been going through because of your testimony. And I offer myself to you the best way I can, because coming up in the inner city, I have to myself experienced a lot of people. I'm tired of going to funerals, man. I ain't even going to get emotional right now. Right. But when I tell you, I am tired of going to funerals. I am tired of going to funerals, and we can help if we all hold hands together and let our egos down.
That's right.
I got over 50 world champions that are on board with me to help me to teach this program. But the point is, if we just all hold hands, and like I tell the champs, leave your ego at the door. I don't care what you did in the ring. I don't care what I did in the ring. The only thing that matters going forward is what we do together today, because that's all that really matters at the end of the day. Because when judgment comes, when we stand before God, we're not going to stand before him because we were good or bad. The Bible says we're going to stand before him because of our deeds. So what are your deeds? Are you doing what he said when Christ told Peter? He said, be sheep to my shepherd. So we are trying to be, as men, to come together, and we are trying to do what he told us to do, which is to help these young men out here to see a better tomorrow, because tomorrow depends on what we do today. And right now we're going off a cliff, man. As the Bible says, we're shepherds. We're sheep to the slaughterhouse, because these young men don't have role models. They don't have no expectations on their lives. And I have a way that I've come up with, working with you gentlemen and all these other gentlemen, if we can hold hands to make sure that these young men feel every single day when they wake up that somebody has an expectation on their life, and it's not okay for them to go out there and just do anything they want to do.
Exactly. You know, that very well said, Lamont. You know, I always tell individuals, people like yourself, you know, you've been a champion in the ring. I would say you're a champion outside of the ring as well for what you're doing today. And, you know, Stephen, Oliver, Juanita, you know, what you guys are doing, what we're all trying to do together, that's what makes us all keep on being champions in life as well. Because it's not about us anymore. It's about what we can do to help individuals. God gave us the ability to become champions and to gain all this fame and all that. But you know what? It's not about us anymore. It's about what we can do to help you guys out there. And Juanita, you came to the picture, you know, this past year, and it's been a blessing, because people like you coming into the life of Stephen and myself and Lamont and so many others out there, we appreciate you, what you're doing too, and helping us out. Juanita.
Thank you so much, Shaw. I appreciate it. I was sitting as Lamon was, discussing what the Word of God says, and as Kevin was sharing what he's been going through, and, you know, just sitting here with you guys, I just felt so blessed. I feel so blessed because I know God is busy with something amazing, something huge. And I have to say, Lamon, you talked about humility. When I met Joe, and when I met you as well, you know, you guys have done some pretty amazing things in the world. God's grace and goodness is on your lives, and you are so humble. It's so refreshing to be in the presence of people that are humble, that really want to, as Joe said, pay it forward. And something has stuck with me that you mentioned before we started this session, and that was the 3 types of fighters. Because you mentioned that life is a fight. We know life is a fight, right? Every day we have to make sure we keep our hands up and we keep it punching and we keep ducking and slipping and bobbing and weaving. But tell us about the 3 types of fighters, because that stuck with me. That was very, very interesting about your program.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for asking. I'll be delighted to explain it to you. So as a fighter, I started at the age of 7 in 1980. I'm 50 years old. And as I grew, my body grew. And so I have been a boxer. I have been an aggressive fighter. I have been a counterpuncher. But one thing that all fighters know, or anybody that understands that boxing is the art and science of boxing is to hit without getting hit, that styles make fights. So that's why in boxing, certain styles can't beat certain styles, but it's always based on a mentality. And it's the mentalities that we take into the ring that gives us success. So as I sat there thinking, I you know, because I read a lot of books, you know, I'm like the nerd of boxing. I'll knock you out and read you a bedtime story. but the point I'm trying to make is, in reading all of these books, like Frederick Douglass said, he said, knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. And so a lot of today, we are a slave to our lack of understanding, our lack of knowledge, our lack of perception. Because as I say, like being that life is a fight. Because if you're wearing a jacket, if you're wearing shoes, if you're wearing a sock, You're fighting against something, whether you want to call it that or not, but it's a form of fighting. So what I decided to do when I wanted to put this program together, because I was like, well, how can I get people to really understand, overstand, understand how I am trying to get them to realize that everything that I have ever done in my life, I can tell you what it meant in a form of a punch. Like you take, for instance, the jab. The jab means opportunity. And in life, what in order to be successful, what do you got to do? You got to find opportunities. And so I go through a whole list of what every single punch means, but it's all based on your stance. Your stance is based on your mindset. Now, you got people that have an aggressive mindset. That's like a Mike Tyson, people to come forward that make the opening. And then you have people like Muhammad Ali that has a defensive mindset that uses his jab to find the opening. And then he throws I call it the hand of success, the boom. Or you have the third mentality, which we can sum it up to a Lamon Brewster, a Floyd Mayweather, whereas we're not attacking you, but we're not running from you. We're just right there. We're looking for the opportunity in what you say and what you do and how you present yourself. Because sometimes when you walk into a room, sometimes you may need to cover up. Sometimes you may need to slip. Sometimes you may see an opening and you need to punch. Sometimes you may need to just take your time and fill that room out, because that room represents the world. In boxing, the ring represents the world. So that square cube, that square ring that I'm in is actually in the shape of a room. And anybody I speak to is either a sparring match or it could be a fight. So you have to know what type of mentality you are, because see, we are losing today as a people because you got aggressive people trying to tell defensive people how to be successful in life. You got defensive people trying to tell aggressive people how to be successful in life. It only works when you enter and understand your style based on your mentality. You cannot make you can't make a square fit into a round hole. Because if I'm a tall fighter, if I'm got long arms, well then why would anybody tell me to be aggressive? That just don't make sense. Use your reach. And the thing is with this education that we have is how to apply it using boxing. Because I know if I'm looking for if I have an education, and before I go forward, I'll say this to you. Education without application leads to a life of frustration. That's why you got a lot of frustrated fools that got education, because boxing teaches application. In order to be successful as a fighter, you have to apply yourself. We do that by punches. But I gave these punches names.
Something.
I'm sorry.
Can I say something? You know, it's all about preparing yourself, preparation. That's why fighters have to train before they step into the ring. So the same thing applies to life. What we're doing, we have to prepare ourselves. It takes a lot of training. You got to have somebody to guide you, and that's where Lamon comes in. That's where Oliver, Juanita, and Joe Cortez come in. We're trying to prepare you for your fight. Your fight is the fight of life to keep yourself going forward. A lot of individuals, again, like I said before, is all a lot of mental preparation. So you have the right teacher to keep you on the right track. There's not enough individuals like Lamon Brewster, what you're doing out there, and we thank you so much for all the efforts and your program, your foundation, what you're doing, and what we're trying to accomplish with Juanita, Stephen, and myself, and Camacho Jr. We're all trying to help people out there, but it's all preparation. It all takes a matter, like you said, hit, don't get hit. You know, learn how to bob and weave. But people, they weave, but they don't know how to bob, you know. So bob and weaving and learn, it's all preparing you to get ready to get into that ring. The ring of the champion in life. Not necessarily in the ring, but be a champion outside the ring. That's why we want you out there. We don't want you all to become fighters. You have to be a fighter to be successful, yet be a champion in life. That's what's important.
And I went to Muhammad Ali's funeral. And when I was at the funeral, the thing that I took away from the funeral is that it isn't everything that he did inside of the ring that made him the greatest of all times, but it's what he stood for and what he did outside of the ring. And so that just further prompted me and pushed me to try to get these champions to realize when you hang up the gloves is when you really start to fight. Because now you're not fighting for yourself or your team or your family. Now
Right.
you're fighting to save the world. Now you're
Yes, sir.
fighting to try to give the biggest impact to these young men and their fathers and their brothers and their cousins. And so us coming together as a family of boxers is the best thing that I felt that we could do. And like I said, when I heard that about Muhammad Ali, who I just found out because my mom does the family tree, my Clay, his mother is my cousin. He's related to me on both sides of my family, according to the ancient whatever that tree thing is. But the point is just taking that page out of his book. Whereas I don't want to just be known for knocking out Vladimir Klitschko. Yeah, it's great to say I'm the heavyweight champion of the world and I hold the world record for the fastest knockout in heavyweight history. But it feels better to me when I see these young men start to make changes in their lives, because when I started training guys in the gyms after I retired, I noticed these young men, more so than even want to know how to fight, they want somebody to hold them responsible. They want somebody to care about them. They want somebody to listen to them. They want somebody to tell them no. But there's nobody because everybody's afraid. But I'm a fighter. And I tell them, if you don't like what I say, we can get in the ring and fight. That's what I do. So they always listen. But at the end of the day, they want somebody to care about them, and they don't want to be judged, because we've been taught to judge these young men because the media has told us what they are. But you don't judge a book by so you don't judge a book by its cover, you know. Yep. And so by these young men coming to the gym, I have an agenda that I have broken down using mental health specialists, that I'm asking these other trainers around the world that they would actually start to teach, which is the value of what every punch means in life, because life is a fight. And so if they walk into a room, if they're in an environment and they see this, okay, this is a fight based upon how I feel today, based upon what he said, based upon what it is that I'm trying to do. So I'm just trying to show them another way of looking at life. It's not about books. It's about sense being common, because common isn't always sense.
Okay, Mr. Oliver, won't you tell us a couple of your last impression about Lamont, what he's explaining, what you have to say before we wrap up the show, and Juanita as well.
Well, I mean, I've said it before, as far as I'm so happy that he's doing what he's doing. Me losing my two sons, and then also I lost my mother to gun violence as well. My stepdad shot her when I was in first grade, so I've always had a chip on my shoulder. Always used my hands, been a backyard brawler for my whole life. So all the things that he's saying just sets me back. You know, it just makes me understand how important this show is going to be, and how important it is to get out there and talk to people. For him to put together 50 world champions, 50 incredible fighters that'll help in this is simply amazing. I've got 13 or 14 of them that I've talked to and stuff. And this is one of the gentlemen that I couldn't wait to get on the show, because you know how he spoke with me and how he made an impact in my life. And I knew he could make an impact in others. That's why I wanted him on here so bad, because I know what he is capable of doing. And look what he's doing every day. Look what he's doing. So proud of you. So proud of what you're doing. Thank you. And anything that we can do to help you, make sure that you understand this is going to be a big show. We're getting ready to open up another television broadcast station. So she's got another station that we just added another 1.2 million viewers to. So I'm going to help her with that. And we're going to have some amazing things coming. And we want you to be part of it. And the things that you're doing, we want to broadcast to everybody. We want these kids to know they've got somebody that can reach out and talk to somebody. And that's the most important thing right now, is giving them something to grab a hold of and say, I just talked to Lamon Brewster. I can't believe it. I just talked to Holyfield, or I just talked to this or that. These small moments in their life can change their life direction directly right then. That it gives me chills thinking about it because I know what it can do. You know, I know how it affected me in my life growing up. So meeting somebody like you, and especially the younger generation, meeting some of the people that you're running with right now or working this program with, it's going to make huge differences in their lives. I can't wait to be part of it, and I can't wait to have you back on the show. We're going to do this a lot, and it's very, very nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to me and hear what I'm trying to say. And what I would like to do, I would like to speak to you off camera because I have something that I want to definitely put on your radar because I believe that this will change. And it's just my opinion. I believe God has given me something because I prayed to him so much. I've gotten on his nerves. So he's given me something to get off his nerves. But this right here that he's given me, it is going to change it's going to help change the mindset of these young people, man. We're going to, he's given me something that I don't even want to explain it right now. I just rather speak to you off the camera, man. And we'll go from there. But I love you guys, and thank you for supporting me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for just always just being there for me. Mr. Cortez, I still have the picture that you took holding the coffee bag of the Champions Brew, man. God has been building me. I ain't gonna say he's been building me, but he's been guiding me so that I can help us, man. And because I like I say, I'm a prayer warrior, man. I try my best to get on his nerves.
Well, we're very proud of you. We want to thank you so much for being on the show today. And Juanita, would you say a couple of words before we wrap it up?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe. I want to thank each and every person in this room for being available and open. Their minds, their hearts, their spirits, all of you guys for taking hands in these projects. I'm super excited what Joe and Kevin and I are doing. Lamon, I'm super excited about what you are doing. And we just want to thank you for being an exceptional guest. And God bless you on all your ventures. And I'm sure we'll all be doing a lot of projects together. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, thank you so much.
Keep being the champion outside the ring the way you were inside the ring. Stephen, thank you so much. And I will catch you guys next week. God bless you all.
God
bless you
bless.
guys. Bye.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.